Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Tuesday night KnitChat Cafe. So hope you've all got your favorite drink and something to knit. You know, Kelly, I've watched other lives and some of the people actually knit. I mean the hosts, some of them actually knit. And I'm like,
well, we don't have to do everything that everybody else does. We can do it our own way.
There, I knit a couple of stitches. I can say I knit now. Anyway, so a lot of people are in here early chatting. That's great. We always miss the pre-show.
I know. I think we should start officially, maybe starting it at 6:30, just calling it a pre-show, and then at 7, we'll join in. But we do watch. We're here. We're usually here a few minutes earlier, and we're reading down through the comments. And
I bet there's so many of them. It's getting hard to go through them all.
I know, but it looks like Cindy was in here first tonight, and welcomed everybody into the room. So thank you, Cindy.
Everybody chatting. So hi, Cindy and Wendy and Joy and Valerie and Amy and Elaine and Leah and Sue and Susie. Who else is here? And Rachel. Rachel's my daughter-in-law. And hi, Molly and Isla. They have to go to bed soon, so I have to say hi to them now. And they're very excited because we're having a sleepover this weekend. Curtis and Rachel are going away for a night, so Grandma's staying out, and the girls are very excited about Grandma coming for a sleepover. So that'll be fun. And Rachel's right. I'm sure I will be exhausted the next day. They seem to have, that age group seems to have no lack of energy.
No.
So anyway, so we've got other people here. We've got Maureen and Beth. Let's see who else. We've got Sue. We've got Scylla from Iceland. Hi, Scylla. We've got Teresa, Wendy, Janet, Adriana, Petra. Wow, there's a lot of you guys in here. Rebecca, Kim, Leanne, Antonia. We've got, let's see, Vicky, Nicole, Becky, Nikki, Pat, Ingrid, Debbie, Denise, Bobby. We've got Monty, Jan, Marnie, Bridget, Glenda. And if I've missed anybody, I'm sorry, but you're all welcome. If it's your first time, welcome to the KnitChat Cafe. We're just an informal kind of coffee house chat that we do once a week and have fun talking to everybody and talking about what's been going on in the week, what we're working on, what's been going on, the weather.
This is our informal part of our channel. We do have a regular podcast that Noelle and I put together as well. We had a new one out on the weekend. I know lots of people have had a chance to watch it, and thank you for the lovely comments. We had a lot of fun putting that one together. And if you watched it and you liked it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And so we're having fun. That was episode 40.
I know,
but it seems like not a large number because we're doing this weekly as well. So you could add the 52 plus episodes. So we're getting up there. We've been together a while now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Not as long as Ross and I, but
well, yeah.
A while.
That's good. So, and I think you mentioned we are from Southern Ontario in Canada, and today is quite warm. It's 24 degrees. We finally have some spring. Happy to announce that. And so I just got home. I've been to the airport, and we dropped Kendall and Miles off. They headed home today, and I won't lie, there were more than a few tears shed, and not just from Miles, from us too. Oh, it's hard to let them go. It's so hard. Like I'm super jealous of the grandparents that get to see their grandchildren all the time. Like you, for example, they're, most of them are close. Although I
Yeah.
know you haven't seen them a lot because
Well,
of
it's
sicknesses.
been, because of COVID and but yeah, I mean, I honestly can't imagine, because I remember even when Jacqueline, my daughter, was living in Toronto and I'd just go to visit her in Toronto, which is only 3 hours away. I'd be crying when I came home.
Yeah,
So I cannot imagine, like.
And, I try not to drag it out, and she was sort of dragging it out, and it's a terrible feeling, this long distance parenting and grandparenting. It's tough, but anyway, we had a great week. 2 days ago, Miles woke up with a stuffy nose, which would be his first ever cold. And today, the rest of the house woke up with Miles' cold because, babies, they're little germ pods, and he was drooling and sneezing all over us. And now we're all sick with a cold, scratchy throats and stuffy noses. But this too shall pass. So he left us a lovely little parting gift. I guess we'll say that. So Becky was asking about your top because she wants to knit one.
This is the Peep Show pullover by Morgan W. Her last name starts with W. She was More Thunder on Instagram. I think it's Woldendorf or something like that. But yeah, so this is done in a slub yarn. I used Full Moon Fibers Moon Rock Slub, and the color is Lavender Fields. And then the little bit of contrast that you get in it is just a 4-ply or a fingering weight yarn. I used Lichen and Lace, their 80/20 sock, and that color is called Sugar Plum. So
it's really pretty.
It's I really like it. And this slub is bringing me a lot of joy. So it's so nice to work with. It feels so nice. And talking about it, so this is the Lavender Fields, and then I know that I've shown this, but there's my.
That she almost didn't get to leave my house with because I like it so much that I want to keep it. This is the same
color, but look at the difference.
Yeah.
Because I held a mohair with it. It was a Leo and Roxy mohair, and the color was Fable, and it was more solid lavendery, whereas this has more of the like green and yellow tones in it. So it really does change it when you put a mohair with it that's a little bit different color.
It really does. So, were you able to snag one for me?
I did.
Oh, yay.
I did. Not a shawl. Not a shawl.
But you haven't got a knit for me yet?
So you had asked me that you had said that you had this.
I do.
Right.
I have some lavender. It's a light lavender, right?
This is light lavender. So this is Drops Kid Silk mohair lace. No, Kid Silk.
That looks lighter. Maybe I have lavender. I'm looking at it and it looks a little darker. It will still work with that. That's gorgeous.
This color is called Kale Me About It.
Kale Me About It.
But it's so pretty. It's so pretty. I wanted to buy all the colors. So anyways, so this is called Kale Me About It. This is the Moon Rock Slub from Full Moon Fibers. So yeah, and I thought, well, if Kelly doesn't like it, I do, so it won't matter.
Oh no, I like it. I like it a lot. Kelly likes it a lot. Yes.
And then when I went there, I went to Little Red Mitten last week to drop off my the samples I had done for them, a little baby sweater, and I'd also done a sock. So I was wearing my Tassels in the Sky. So then they asked me to knit one for the store. So
what did you get for colors? Let me see.
Okay. This one.
I like that one too.
This is called Frozen Forest, and I'm holding it with the Leo and Roxy mohair called Parchment.
Oh,
and
pretty.
I just
there's a parchment mohair.
Yes.
Like a parchment mohair that would go with my, hang on.
Okay, so there's what I've got so far. So there's what it's, hold it up. It's so pretty. It's so pretty.
So I have,
I'm not going to want to give it back.
I have the linen silk in parchment.
Yep. There's the mohair. And it's just sort of slightly variegated, like not variegated, like tonal. It's really pretty. And the two colors together they really are nice. Like the Frozen Forest is like the parchment, but with like foresty green colors in it. And it's so pretty.
See, now you're making me think about that floodlight tee with that parchment mohair. Okay, I'll keep thinking. Okay.
Yeah, so
we have a few new people in here tonight too. Margaret's here for the first time from Quebec.
Hi, Margaret.
She's working on her Honeysuckle by Marie Wallen. She said she enjoys our Tuesday nights. Yeah,
we love Marie Wallen.
You got Noelle's spider senses
That's right.
tingling with that.
That's
Absolutely. Right. And there was somebody else in there too that was a few new people.
Linda said she likes the colors. I know, like this is the I just seriously I have to get some of this because I would love it like a sweater with this. And I think and I have that I have the mohair that I went and paired it with. So anyway, and this feels like it really feels the fabric is really nice, and then you put it with the mohair and it's just.
That one's not knit with mohair though, the one that you're wearing.
No, this one's just the plain slub. But even the plain slub, because it kind of fills in, you can kind of have a loose gauge, but you don't really get that gappy look.
Yeah, no, it's really nice.
It kind of all fills in.
It's fun.
But with the mohair, and this is done on a 5mm needle. Oh, I just love it.
When she was here on the weekend, and we were doing the podcast, I had seen the shawl. I had already seen the shawl, but not in person. And then when she pulls it out in person, I'm like, I don't know. That might not be in your basket when you leave. Like, I loved it. I just loved it. And I love even the, I don't know. It's like that, even the texture of the tassels. Cause there's like kind of snubby and then like curly hair in there. They're really, nice, it's really nice.
Big fat tassels.
Yes.
And the pattern is by Vincent Villalpando. It's a free pattern. And basically the original pattern was knit on a 4mm needle, but like I'm a relatively tight knitter, so I put it on a 5 because I like the drape of the 5. And then you kind of just are increasing. So you just kind of knit till I didn't have a whole lot of yarn left. And then I made my tassels and then I knit till I ran out of yarn. So
very nice. Very nice.
But,
Melissa just finished her first love note using the Leo and Roxy parchment held with the parchment mohair. Oh, see? Oh, that's
nice. Was the parchment the linen silk? Or did she have parchment in? Because they might have parchment in the.
She just said the Leo and Roxy parchment held with the mohair.
Okay, Becky, the shawl pattern name is Tassels in the Sky by Vincent Villalpando. That would be pretty though. Or even the shadow wrap. It's not shadow wrap. Not the shadow wrap tee. There's no shadow wrap tee.
The floodlight.
And I think I called it. I was watching our podcast back, and I think I called it floodgate. Not floodgate. Not floodgate. It's floodlight. So
we made a few mistakes, a few goofs in that podcast when I was watching it back. I don't know if you noticed, but when I was talking about one of the prize yarns, I then forgot to go on and say who the winner was. Did you notice that?
No.
So I had already made up the prize, the prize window that we show the numbers and everything on. And so I was playing it and I was waiting for us to say who the winner was. And then we went on to the next prize. And I'm like, don't.
So did we not say that winner then?
Yes, we did say it. No, we didn't say it out loud, but I made sure that I had it in. It was on the podcast.
Okay. So the name would have been on the screen.
Yeah, it was. Okay. It was Gwen's winning number 61 socks. So I put it up on the screen, but we never did say the name out loud.
Okay. Well, she's already contacted me, so she knows.
I know, but I apologize. It was sometimes we just get excited. We get excited about the yarn and we can't.
I know.
Hard to get. We do make notes. We actually do have notes in front of us, and
sometimes they're covered up with projects and yarn.
Who knew? So she said that she used the 80/20 merino, but now she wants to try the linen silk. You will not be disappointed. It's gorgeous.
You will not.
You're going to show us how you're making out on it? Oh, it's done. Of course it is.
No, it's not done. It's not done. Okay. So look at
what's not done. Blocking?
No, look at, okay. So that arm is not the same as that arm.
Oh, by the ribbing.
I'm going to show you pictures because I have ripped some out and I don't like ripping out, but I did. Okay, where are we here? Okay, so I don't know if you're looking at it on the right or the left, but you can see that one of the sleeves is ribbed and the other one I did the I-cord edging that was recommended in the pattern. Now, however, in the pattern, it was recommended to do the I-cord edging with the mohair. Well, I still had some of the silk left, just a little bit of the silk. And I thought, well, I'd rather use up all the silk because I've only got a short amount left, but I had a lot of mohair. So I wanted to use up the silk. So I did the I-cord in that and I didn't like it. It's too loose.
I like the ribbing.
It's too
in
loose
that
and
fabric.
floppy.
I like the ribbing.
Yeah, so I on the other sleeve, I did just like a 1x1 twisted rib and did a tubular cast off, and I like that a lot better. So I've just got to rip out the second one and do the ribbing on it. And then the other thing was the bottom. Here we go. Okay, so the bottom kind of like, the bottom said that if you're using the linen silk, and the blend that they called for in the pattern, even though it wasn't Leo and Roxy, the blend that they called for was the same, exactly the same, the 65 silk, 35 linen. It said if you use that, you didn't need to do a ribbed hem because it would lay flat. Well, I hadn't blocked it, but it's not laying flat. And I thought, I don't like that. So mine, I ripped that out, and mine is, I did the rib. Yeah. I did the rib and did the tubular bind off. So one thing that I want to say about the rib, and when I was doing it, and I'd already cast off, so you have to go back, right? So I'm pulling it out, and when you're going back and you're picking up stitches, first of all, it's easier if you go in once you've ripped it out and use a smaller size needle to pick up the stitches before you put them back on your regular size needle, just because it's easier to go in.
Very true.
And if you happen to miss, you know, like sometimes you'll go and the stitch, because this is very slippery yarn, being the silk and linen, and sometimes it'll ravel down a row or two, like one stitch will. While you're doing it, don't try to pick that up. Just get the stitch on the needle, right? Go all around, get all your stitches, then go back. What I did anyways, and I found that this works really well for me, go back, take your light bulb stitch markers and mark the stitches, like look at your back or your inside, mark the stitches where you have a loop to catch when you go around. And then when you go around and net the next row or do the next row in pattern, you can just pick that up and fix it at that point. So that makes it a lot easier than, because I find when I try to fiddle with a stitch, because it's dropped down and I'm trying to get it right, half the time I'm losing other stitches while I'm doing it. Right. So it's easier if you just go down, go back and mark the ones that you missed. And then when you go around and do your next round, it's a lot easier to pick them up. So
for sure.
Okay. So then the next thing, the back of the neck in the pattern has I-cord, and it's like 15 inches of I-cord on each side to tie. And I thought, I don't really want ties hanging down my back. So I just put this little, it's just a little pewter button. And it also called for the I-cord to go around the neck. The neck looked fine the way it was. So I just left the neck, put the little I-cord button. And because there's no short rows, I actually could either wear this with the keyhole at the front or the keyhole at the back.
And
so, so I'm really pleased.
It doesn't look like you even have to undo the button to put it on, right? You can just slide. Yeah.
The button is sewed shut, so it can't come undone.
It can't come undone. Okay.
No. So love, I cannot say enough about this linen silk blend. Love it. This color is called Morning Glory. And these are both Leo and Roxy yarns. So it's their linen silk that was a special edition for their anniversary or birthday, 4th birthday, whatever they call it. And then it's their mohair silk. So Kelly, yes, you should get the mohair. This is like.
Okay. Twist. Look at that rubber arm bend.
Yep. Yeah. So that's all I have left to do. I've just got to pull out that I-cord edge and do this one.
Linda says that she's going to make the tassels in the sky as well. And she says she bought her first ever jean jacket. What?
Yay! What, Linda?
Are you even Canadian if you don't own a denim jacket? Oh, I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see what you'll come up with. It is the perfect shawl for a denim jacket. Even though it seems like denim jacket season is pretty short in Canada.
I know, it's like a day.
It's a day. So you have got to plan for it. You know, it's a day. And then who else was just reporting in? Kim. Was Kim? Yes, Kim. Yes. Kim reported that there are 925 pairs of socks in our sock FO thread. And I love that you use the word our, Kim, meaning yours.
That's
and I love that you're taking ownership of the pool and that you're all feeling vested in that. That makes me happy. That's great. And that is huge because what were we at? 839 by the end of April. And so now already 100 more. So we're on track. Wow. We're not quite halfway through May yet. we thought if you could get 200 pairs a month, then we're going to make our target easily enough. So that's great. There's a few people in here chatting about the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival. And I hear it was really fun and really wet.
Rainy.
Linda says
Yes,
that
I heard
she
that it was
already threw her socks away. They are ruined. She said they're too muddy. Ugh. But you know what? It would still be fun, wouldn't it? You'd find a way to have fun.
Yeah. Yep. I'd wear boots.
Yeah.
That's right.
But I mean, whoever thinks of taking rubber boots to a wool festival? Well, maybe if you're outside, I would. I don't know that I would have taken them though.
No, I probably wouldn't have, but I would have wished I had them once I got there. So, anyways, a few people were saying how much they like that blue color. I really do like that blue color because I don't normally buy blue.
No, it really is like a very pale blueberry blue. It's gorgeous, and it would look really good with denim for sure. So
but I think, it's nice. Like even though it's got the mohair, there's not a whole lot of mohair in it. So I think it's going to be a nice. I mean, when it gets to the middle of the summer and it's so hot and humid, you're not going to be wearing mohair. But like even for a day like today, it would have been okay.
Yeah, as long as it has the short sleeves and it's it's breezy. The knit, the fabric is loose, so I think you'd be okay. Yep.
So, Kristen wants to know if we're going to be at the Muskoka Yarn and Fiber Fest. I don't even know when it is. I know about the Kawartha one. I know it's June 11th.
When is it, Krista?
No, it's a 5-hour drive for that. So I don't know. It's either a go and stay overnight or because 5 hours there and 5 hours back in one day is a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to go, but today I was looking for, I went to my Ravelry and I was looking for a skein of yarn. And when I'm going and pulling it out, I'm looking at all this yarn going, I can't believe I even think about buying more yarn. Seriously. Just
curating. And we also know that mohair is just a condiment, right? So, okay. So she says it's July 2nd in Bracebridge. So that's over a long weekend too. I don't know about heading north on a long weekend. That could be some crazy driving. But Kim is also working on a pair of the DRK everyday socks. And she said, I'm sorry I keep clearing my throat. I was going to apologize for that. She said that she's with me on the fit, loves the fit, but that darn ribbing.
So what is it? Is it knit 2 purl 2 or knit 2 purl 1 or knit 3 purl 1? Like
knit 2 purl 2 for the whole dang sock. I am 20 rows away, Kim, from finishing the second sock, and I love them. I know that they are going to be like high rotation in my socks. They fit amazing, but dang, I don't mind ribbing.
I don't mind knitting knit 2 purl 2. I don't like knitting knit 1 purl 1, but I don't mind knitting knit 2 purl 2.
I'm mind for a whole sock. Like it's like the ribbing. Like, you know how I feel about ribbing. Like you often knit 20 rows of ribbing. I am pushing myself to do 15 rows, right?
Yeah.
And this is an entire sock of ribbing. It's like the ribbing that never ends, but love the sock.
I'm going to have to try them.
I will never make them as a gift. You've heard me say it here. I will never gift these socks away, but I would make another pair for me. Not right away. Julia's working on them too. But without a foot in the sock, they look quite okay. They do. I can show you one. I have it down here.
But do they have a foot in? Oh, you mean without the foot?
They have a beautiful foot, but they do look funny. Okay. So this is a finished one. There it is. It just looks ridiculous. This is a ladies 8. I'll put it on a sock blocker so you can see the magic happen. They just look ridiculous. They really do. But they are amazing on the foot. Look at this magic. They should be called the magic socks. Let's look at that. That's a gorgeous sock. And they fit amazing too. Like that ribbing just hugs your foot so beautifully. It's a Flegel heel, actually. And the ribbing.
So the only part that's not rib is just kind of like that
the heel flap.
Heel at that, yeah.
Yep, that tiny little heel flap. But the rest is ribbing. And this this beautiful yarn is by Vicky of Songbird Fibers, and it's the piping plover. And I love
I like that color.
I would like a sweater in this. This is beautiful, beautiful color.
Okay, so we need mohair, we need piping plover.
Yeah, not piping plover, the yarn company.
No,
this the color.
Well, if I start a yarn company, I'm going to call it piping plover.
Laura says she's making the Manhattan light, and it's 12.5 inches of 1x1 ribbing on size 2 needles. Wow. No, Kelly would not like that at all. You're exactly right, Laura. Kelly would not like that.
Well, what is that? Is it a hat? What is it?
That's what she said. It's a hat. Oh, the Manhattan light hat.
Okay.
12.5 inches of 1x1. Whew.
So yeah, that's a lot of ribbing.
That's a lot of ribbing. That's a lot of ribbing. So
anyway, so I started a sock today. That's what I was looking through my yarn stash for, because I was looking for a particular
going through your yarn stash just to see if you had anything in there that you could make socks.
I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to do, because we're getting into warmer weather, but I still sometimes have socks on, and I think I only have like 2 pairs that are cotton, right? So I had this yarn. Mm-hmm. So this is the bamboo pop sock.
Not pop rocks.
Not pop rocks. And it's nice because they give you the little color card that kind of shows how the colors will knit out.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Okay.
Yeah. So this yarn is, where's the makeup of it? 55% bamboo and 37% cotton and 8% PBT. I don't know what PBT is, but it's kind of a little bit elasticy. So I'm thinking it's some kind of something that gives the fiber a little bit of stretch, because bamboo and cotton wouldn't. Yeah. So anyway,
it would stretch. It just wouldn't. There wouldn't be memory in the stretch. It wouldn't stay snug for your foot. Right.
So it looks really. Whoops! It looks. You still get
springy.
No, look how thin it looks.
Okay. I don't think it looks that thin, but okay.
Oh, really? Okay. Anyway, so I know that on this podcast before, we've had lots of people mention the Get Shorty socks by Irene Designs from the 3-Ply podcast. So she was so nice. She actually sent us the pattern. So I thought, well, I really want to try it. Yeah. Thanks, Irene. So I really want to try it. So, and I thought, well, I want to do it in this yarn, so it'll be a nice summer shorty sock. So this is actually the Get Shorty rib. So when you were saying about the rib, this one is ribbed, but only down the foot of the sock. Like you don't rib down the top of the foot. You don't rib the sole.
Totally my kind of ribbing. That's ribbing I can get behind.
Yeah. So and it's got in it what she calls the strong heel. So it's the first time I've ever done that, and I really like it. I haven't tried it on yet, but I really liked the way it was.
I'm really anxious to try it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm actually really liking how this sock yarn is knitting up too. Like, I think it's really pretty. And all these colors up here, they just say like summer.
Diane says that she's making socks in that yarn right now, and it's called the Bucktoosh Boardwalk. So she must be from New Brunswick. That's where Bucktoosh
I saw that. I saw someone had that, and I did really like that pattern. It was very pretty. So, but this has a lot of yardage in it. I think like 490 meters. So I'm going to have enough to do. I'll probably do myself a pair, and I'll probably do my mom a pair like this, because she likes still to have socks on in the summer too. But yeah, the heel is really interesting. There's no picking up stitches, which is really nice. So you kind of like increase as you go along. You do your heel flap, and then you just continue knitting your foot. So yeah.
Laughing at Julia. 12.5 inches. That's what she said. We have some other office lovers in here. Okay. And Mimi was asking about the one of the pairs of socks that I showed last week. And it was this sock here, the Mosaic sock pattern. It's the Voyage sock by Lisa Ross. Also Paper Daisy is the name that she goes by.
Paper Daisy Creations. Yep.
Yeah. And I love the sock. And yeah, all of my short socks are still down here, right where I left them last Tuesday, because I haven't had a chance to get back down here and clean up. But we were talking about Mosaic socks, that if you want to try color work, but you are uncertain about your tension, holding and carrying the yarns, Mosaic is probably a great confidence booster, because you're only ever knitting with one yarn at a time. and then you go back and then you knit with the second yarn. So you get a fantastic color work effect and none of the color work carrying or tension issues. But so yeah, you can try that out.
Okay, Diane says that yes, she is from
Bucktouche.
And I thought they have I think the little yarn store there is called like La Violette Yarn and Gifts, and it looked so cute. I definitely am going to go there if we go to New Brunswick again, hopefully next year. So, and Sue, yes, I did say it was it is called the Strong Heel. Mm-hmm. Okay, the shorty pattern is Get Shorty Ribbed, and I think she's got one that's Get Shorty just plain socks. Then there's the Get Shorty Ribbed, and then she's also got a new one out called Get Shorty Goes to Prom, which was a little fancier. Yeah, it's a little fancier, and it's got like a kind of a picot edge around the top, and it could be done. I believe that it could be done in either. There's instructions for both fingering and for DK. So yeah, so I'm all about the shorty socks right at the moment because they're perfect for the beginning, kind of the, spring, beginning of summer, and then back again into fall before you really get into your heavier ones. And plus they're a lot faster to knit.
As soon as I finish the last 20 rows of my 12.5 inches of rib, Miss Julia, I'm casting on some short ones too, just because I do.
Even if I did those, I only have a size 6 foot, so it wouldn't be as bad.
That's right. Yeah. So you would have less, I guess, but I don't know. They are beautiful socks. The pattern it's really a well-written pattern. Really. It's a lot of rib. Catherine popped in here too. Hi, Catherine. Catherine's from Sarnia as well. She's joined us under the bridge a few times. You'll have to come back out again this year, Catherine. We didn't this past Saturday. It was too windy.
It was cool. Saturday was cool. Sunday turned nice. Actually, Saturday afternoon in my backyard was nice because we were sheltered from the wind. But out front, it was like there was almost a 20-degree difference between the backyard and the front yard.
I know. And the wind has been crazy. And I've been saying it all week. And yesterday, Kendall, she picked me up on it. She goes, Mom, I think you've said it 20 times this week. Geez, the wind. And I'm like, well, geez, the wind. It's a lot of wind. So today it was really windy. And Mike, when he came in, he's like, wow, the wind out there. And I'm not saying anything. Hi, Heather. She just popped in too.
I went outside to sit outside and put up the umbrella and the wind just caught it. I had to take it down. I couldn't leave the umbrella up because it was just too strong. So the afternoon it kind of calmed down.
I had sunblock on this weekend too when we were out. It was nice, but I did get a little pink on my arms, but I'm just pretty cautious. I did want to share a picture I meant to do it earlier, but since we were talking about miles. So my husband has been into dirt bikes his whole life, and he used to race dirt bikes, and he happens to have this vintage 1974 little 50cc motorcycle. And this thing it's ancient, but it's his prize jewel of his bike collection because it is so old. And he couldn't wait for Miles to get here to take Miles out on the dirt bike. And we have a picture of him yesterday out tooting around the backyard. Look at that. My husband was so excited to get him on that dirt bike. And Miles was pretty interested to see it too. He just sat there and he was like checking out the handlebars, and he seemed pretty happy. His Derek wasn't so sure about that. He's like, well, will he have a helmet? And we're like, well, no, he's just a baby. We're not going to drop him. But that little 50 has seen a lot of activity. It's an oldie, but a goodie. And then something else I wanted to share this week too. Kendall and I made it to a thrift store. She likes to go thrifting. And on her way to the store, she spotted this, and I scooped it.
Oh, that's cute.
This tiny little chair. Now, why this is exciting, I'll show you a picture, because I've started making these little knitted toys for Miles. Look at this. Look at that. Cute. What a cute little prop. And then I love this picture too, a little bit different. Look at that. It looks like he's been to a portrait studio. And the chair is mine for the low price of $3.50.
Wow.
And I love it. I'll use it for all of his animals now. It's just super cute.
Cute.
So yeah, I have a whole shelf of kind of like photo props. just little things to put in pictures of knitted finished objects. So that's just a couple of more things to add to the shelf.
I was just going to go back because someone had asked. Okay, so Cheryl asked, would the rib socks be a good pattern for a first timer? If you are, a knitter,
like rib
and knitting rib is fine. I say yes, rib socks are a good start because they better
fit really well,
right? Because even if your size is a little bit different, the rib will kind of like hug in if they're too big, too small. Anyways, they'll adjust either way. They'll either become bigger or smaller depending on the size of the foot. So until you get more comfortable with the size that you really want to do, rib socks are a really good idea. So, and I guess it's nice. It is kind of nice if you're new to socks to start with a shorty sock too, because it's not as much knitting. The foot is actually where the foot and the heel is probably where the fit's the most important, because even if the top of your leg is a little bit baggy, it's not as critical, but you want your foot to fit really well. So yeah, I would say shorty rib socks would be perfect for first time socks. So lots
Mary's
of people
asking if I did some teal blue shorties. Did I do some teal blue shorties posted on Instagram? I don't know. I don't
recall.
So I don't recall. If you can find them in there, I guess. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Oh, and Klaska's in here too. Hi, Klaska.
Hi, Klaska.
Noelle, you haven't seen it yet, but Klaska sent us the most beautiful card. And it was, yes. So I've been saving it to show you. And I just got it in the mail a day or so ago. It's so pretty. And I'm wondering, did you make the card, Klaska? It's absolutely beautiful.
Okay, Lisa's asking about the Knitter's Pride interchangeable needle set. I have not tried it, so I can't speak to it, but there might be people in here that have.
You know what? I have a ton. I don't have a set, but I have probably every size in their needles. Nothing in front of me that I can show you, of course. Everything's over on the wall. And then I have all of the cables. Are they? Okay, I have to switch glasses so I can see. I'm pretty confident. This is bad.
Well, I think Knitter's Pride has different.
Yes, they're all Knitter's Pride.
Names? Isn't there different? Like you can get the ones that aren't the carbons Knitter's Pride, and then they had they at one point had ones that were like they looked like marble, but they were plastic, and then there's So I think there's all different ones.
The ones that I have that I really like, most of them are wood. I do have one set, and I got it. I think it was a very short-lived. I use it for my sweaters all the time. They are wooden needles, but they are nickel tipped as well.
Okay.
I love them. And those were called Knitter's Pride Royale. But yeah, I use the wood needles by Knitter's Pride all the time, and I have cables in every length. So no, I don't have, like, I guess I would say I have a set, but I didn't buy them as a set. I bought them as interchangeable. Agreed. Well, the ChowGoo, the cables are definitely more flexible, but I've never been disappointed with Knitter's Pride.
I know the Knitter's Pride cables, I don't think that they say that they're interchangeable, but I have actually bought Knitter's Pride cables and used them on the Licca needles because I like the Knitter's Pride cables better than the Licca cables. I find the Licca cables, for me, I find them really stiff. So, yeah. And Klaska did say, she said, yes, she did make the card.
Okay, wait till you see it. It's beautiful.
Okay, and she also said that she uses the Knitter's Pride and she loves them.
Okay, good to know. Alexa is also saying that her husband gave her the Knitter's Pride Mindful, and that's that beautiful teal
the blue
set.
Yeah.
It's so pretty. It's very meditative, and I think it has like little sayings on some of the needles. She got that for Christmas, and she loves them. So yeah, I definitely I would stand behind Knitter's Pride.
Well, I remember I had a couple of pairs of the ones that looked like a marble that were and I loved them because they were so pretty, but I kept sitting on them and breaking them. So,
well, you would know it if you sat on a ChowGoo, that's for sure.
I have sat on a ChowGoo. It didn't break, but it punctured my skin.
Yeah, it would. It would for sure. Yeah, I actually only got my first sets of ChowGoo just last year, like late in the year. And I only have the mini sets. I have the little red set and the little blue set. I don't even have like the full size set, because I have so many of the Knitter's Pride, and I like them. And somebody's mentioning the Knitpicks needles. They're very similar to the
To
Knitter's
Knitter's
Pride.
Pride.
Yeah, they do feel the same. And
Yep.
I I think their cables are interchangeable too. I'm pretty confident they are. Somebody will
I think
correct
they
me if I've
are.
said that wrong.
I think Hayas and ChowGoos seem to have cables that are specific to their particular brand.
Mm-hmm.
And with ChowGoo, the cables are also specific to the size of the needle. Because I think in the bigger sets, the smaller size take the small size cord, and then I think the other ones take. I know there's an extra small, no, a mini cord, a small cord, and a large cord. So depending on what size of needle you're using, and I know the red set has the mini,
Mm-hmm.
right, the really thin cords, and I know the little blue set though has blue cords, but they're the same size as the small cords.
Mm-hmm.
So
I have, so pretty much I knit all of my socks on 2.25s 99% of the time. So I have those particular needles probably in every manufacturer of knitting needle. Well, no. Okay, that's presumptuous. I'm sure there are sets I have not tried, but I have them in ChowGoos. I have them in Hayas. I have them in Knitpicks. I have them in Knitter's Pride. I have them in Licka. And I really like to use the 9-inch. For me, the ChowGoo, just the way that I'm pushing, I will puncture my finger. Mm-hmm. So I have to switch them up. So that's why I like to keep a few pairs of socks on the go. They all have different needles in them. I really, really like the ChowGoo, but if I knit on them exclusively, I get a punctured finger all the time. So I switch up. The Haya they have the sharps. I don't have the Haya sharps. I have the Haya steel. And for me, that is probably the perfect tip. It's a little more blunt than the ChowGoo. I've not punctured my finger with that one yet.
I have the Haya sharps, and they are sharp.
Yes.
But they're really good for lace knitting.
They are. So needles, I think they all have their uses. But again, like when I'm doing a sock, like it's a fairly, a tighter gauge, and it's a fairly dense fabric. So as I'm pushing that around and then pushing the stitch off with my finger, it gets me.
And I think it also depends on your knitting style, because some people knit looser than others. So your stitches slip a lot more easily on the needle. It might even depend on like for me, like I know you like the 9-inch when you're doing, but I find I only use the 9-inch if I'm doing color work, because I still find it's more comfortable to me to have a needle with a longer tip on it.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily one needle or one needle size fits all. Everybody has their own personal preferences, and you just have to find that what works well for you. And it may change depending on what type of a project you're doing.
And it might depend on the size too, because, the longer the cable, you may want that flexibility. And again, it's really dependent on what you have that you're working on. Like I said, for me, a sock feels different than something else that I might be knitting on. And like once you're on a sweater size and you've got a lot of stitches on a cable, it really doesn't matter then if it's such a flexible cable, because the fabric of that sweater is taking up a larger circumference. So I don't know. Or again, like you might, I don't do a lot of this. I know you do more than I do, but like the magic loop. So that's where you've got the cable hanging out on both sides of the project. And definitely you would want a flexible cable there. Otherwise it's kind of twisting a little bit, and that's a little bit annoying. So just maybe before you commit to an entire set of anything, you want to try out a few different needle styles, a single one for a project, and see where your comfort level lies, rather than, it doesn't matter if it's a high-end set or a low-end set, it's still an investment. And somebody else mentioned that in here, and I agree. Ultimately, you should have what is your best fit, because you're going to spend quite a number of hours with those needles, and they're a tool, and you should have the tool that's your most comfortable fit.
And I just wanted to mention this, Antonia pointed out, and that the ChowGoos do have different cords for different sizes, but they also do make connectors. So you actually can, if you want to use a smaller cord, you can actually use a connector to bring it down to that smaller cord. So. I finished something else.
Okay.
I finished this one.
Oh, you've got it finished. Yay.
Yeah. So there's the back.
It's
So
gorgeous.
there's my light go on. So this is Air by Amy Miller. I know it's on a timer. This is Air by Amy Miller, and it's knit in Holst Garn Coast. That's 3 skeins. I had about a gram left of the 3rd skein. So, and the Holst comes in 50-gram cakes. So that's like
so pretty.
You can hardly get a more affordable sweater than that.
Anything you knit in Holst, you could hardly get anything more affordable, like truly.
So this was something that I started in 2017. I had it marked in my Ravelry. It was November of 2017. And what I really wanted was to knit this lace pattern. I was just really intrigued by it. So I did that. And it's kind of like a pattern where you knit this up and then you cast off and then recast on and then knit the front down. So I had that done for years, but it was the sleeves. I had to sew up the side seams before I could do the sleeves. And then I'd never done a sleeve like this before where you actually pick up, but then kind of do short rows back and forth. At that point in 2017, I had never done that. So it kind of just put me off a little bit. So I set it aside. And now I showed this a couple of Tuesday nights ago saying, make me do this. I want this finished. And I'm so glad it's finished now because it's too hot for this week, but it's supposed to cool off again next week. So I think I might be able to wear it next week.
Yeah. And then you know what, when we get into August and you start to get, when you can smell fall in the air in those August evenings, that's the perfect sweater. So
anyway, and speaking of Holst, I had said, I know that it's okay. You have to knit what brings you joy, right? So this is bringing me joy, but knitting it, when I originally started knitting it in the Let Lopey, I didn't like the feel. The Let Lopey I knew was going to make too heavy of a sweater that I wouldn't wear as an indoor sweater. And I wanted this sweater really to be something that I could still wear indoors. So to still get the tension, I thought, okay, well, I could use the Holst Garn double.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And it's still going to give me a lighter fabric than the Let Lopey. Plus, I really wasn't relishing the thought of knitting with the black yarn. So what I did, this is a test that I'm doing for Beth McDonald Stone, and I'll show you a picture of the sweater first. Okay, so this is a pattern. It's called Clay Break. And so hers is done with a dark background and then the different colors in the top. I think that her yarn that she used was Magpie Nest.
Okay. Yes.
So, but I thought, okay, I've got lots of Holst Garn, so there should be something that I can do with the Holst Garn. So this is what I've started. So mine's just going to have the background is what's the background color? Pussy Willow. And then the middle dark part is Pebble, and then there's Sugar Snap and Pineapple. So it's quite a bit lighter. And I want to show this picture. And then once I get it done and blocked, I'm going to put 2 pictures side by side to show you. Because right at the moment, my fabric still looks a little bit gapey and airy. But with the double strand, once I block that, that's going to bloom.
It blooms. Yes. So, it's hard to picture what it's going to look like when it's finished.
Yeah.
But it does. It fills in really well.
So yeah, so I had to get my Colorwork fixed back in and be doing something in Colorwork. So
I did not get
the pattern yoke and then the sleeves on it are kind of ribbed. But I think in those colors, like I could wear that like at the end of summer.
I love that sweater. I hadn't seen the picture of it yet.
Because it won't be as heavy a sweater as doing it in like I mean, if you do something in Lopey, it's a winter sweater. But changing it up to this, the fabric will be a little lighter and more drapey. Yes. I think it'll give more seasons in which I can wear it. So
when is she planning to release that? I totally would have test knit that one too. I love it. It's beautiful.
I'm not. The test knit's supposed to be done. She asked for the test knit to be done by the end of May, but it's probably not going to be out till I don't know. Maybe she'll watch and she'll let us know.
Okay, it's beautiful.
The sweater name is Claybrig. CLE. I'll type it in. CLEBRIG. And it's not out yet.
So Rosie said that she used Holst Coast single on a 3.75 to do the ranunculus. She said it turned out great and
Okay.
soft. I'd like to see that. That would be beautiful. Gwen says in her sewing group, she would have said that your 2017 sweater is marinating.
There you go. Well, now it's fully mature.
Fully matured. It's ready to go.
It has matured. Anyway.
That sounds like almost like a wine, which, by the way, there's a wine that I like that I would buy frequently. And it is a winery called The Dreaming Tree. And it's a blended wine called Crush.
Crush.
I really like it. And it's Dave Matthews is a partner in the winery, hence the name Crush. And I love this wine. So before Kendall came, I went to the LCBO and I was getting some things for Cinco de Mayo. And I thought, oh, well, I'll grab a couple of bottles of wine while I'm there. Couldn't find it. So I went to the counter. She looked it up. She said, it's been delisted. And I said, delisted? Like as in they don't make it anymore or what's up with that? And she said, I don't know. She goes, but LCBO is no longer carrying it. And she goes, and we sold our last one yesterday. I'm like, wow, darn it. So she said, well, let me see what's nearby. So I found out that Wallaceburg, all the other stores were sold out. Wallaceburg had 9 bottles. So I called Wallaceburg and I said, do you indeed have 9 bottles? And they said, we don't. We actually have 11. I said, I will take them all. So they said, sure, we'll put them aside for you. And Mike went down. And so I am now the proud owner of probably the last 11 bottles of Dreaming Tree Crush in Southern Ontario.
Wow.
So we will enjoy ourselves this summer, Noelle.
Okay. I'm there. I'm there for that. I like the Mayomi too. I've been buying that a lot.
I bought a bottle of Mayomi while I was there because, I really like it as well. But that Dreaming Tree Crush, there's just something about it. Maybe just because it's Dave Matthews. I don't know, but it's a wine I can definitely get
and we
behind.
just need more corks, Kelly.
We need more corks.
Our raft just has to get bigger and bigger. I just need to make another one of these. We just might have to have 2 of these. There we go.
We could build a whole extra wing on the raft, right?
We could.
Pearl could bring her family.
The granddaughters think that's really cute. And actually, I showed my son was over here on Mother's Day, and he thought the possum was really cute because we were talking about possums again and how beneficial they are, at least the ones in Canada, because they eat ticks.
They do. They eat all kinds of bugs. Yeah, Marianne and Susan are saying party at Kelly's house. Absolutely. Bring your knitting though. Mary is talking about our new Spark Joy make along. Okay. So why don't we talk about that? I've got the Bluebird of, gosh, here we go.
Blah, blah, blah.
The blah, 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 blah. I have not had wine yet. The Bluebird of Happiness that Noelle knit for me, that cheered me up one day. And this is the little mascot for the make along. We're going to keep it down here. I might hang it from a string instead of just bobbing it up here every week. But
I'll get probably fit on the raft.
He could fit on the raft. Yeah.
We could make that little crow's nest thing for him at the top. Put him up there.
There you go. There you go. I'm just looking for the banner. Mary was asking yesterday and I didn't get back to her. There we go. So on Instagram, this is down below. This is the hashtag for you to add your project. And we did have a comment after the podcast that somebody wasn't sure how to enter.
I haven't put up the Ravelry threads yet. But
You haven't put up the Ravelry thread. Okay. So on last week's KnitChat, Noelle did a nice little tutorial for you on, and maybe I'll go in and I'll pop a link if I can get a link in here after. I'm not sure if I can on the lives, but she did a little tutorial on how to post a picture to Ravelry and into our group that we have there. So you can always go back and watch that. And do you want to talk about the details of the Spark Joy?
Okay. So the Spark Joy KAL is we want you to make something that brings you joy. It doesn't have to be for you. If making something for someone else brings you joy, it can be for someone else. It doesn't have to be knitting. It can be spinning. It can be weaving. You have to use 50 grams of fiber. And originally we had said no whips, but then we changed our mind because it brings us joy to change our minds.
That's right.
So we changed our mind, and you can actually work on a whip as long as you put another 50 grams of yarn into it.
Yes.
So, if it brings you joy to do that, that's fine. So then you can put your project. I will start a chatter thread and a finished object thread. So those will go on Ravelry. The KAL runs from the 1st of May until the 30th of June. So you can use stash yarn. You can go buy yarn.
If that brings you joy.
If that brings you joy. I don't know any of us in here that wouldn't get joy from buying yarn, but you do have to make something with it.
You could even borrow yarn from a friend's stash.
Sure,
you can do whatever you like. Absolutely. And yeah, it'll be fun. And I know that Mary was actually spinning some yarn, and that's what she's going to use in her Spark Joy make along.
I know, because on our last podcast, someone that won a prize in the Smash Your Stash KAL,
yes,
it was actually a spinning prize. It was actually a spinning project, and it was awesome to see that, because for anybody that is a spinner, like collecting fleece seems to be kind of in the same vein as collecting yarn and curating a fleece stash. So, like we've got fleece in there that's older than, the end of last year. So it's nice to see that that's getting used up too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Connie said that she's working on her Casapinka goldfish, and she said that's bringing her joy.
Good.
Well,
casting on all the new things brings me joy. But
finishing
Kelly, you could cast on that Tassels in the Sky, because that will bring you joy.
It will. Well, first I'd have to get the skein of yarn from you. Okay.
Well, I can drop it off at work.
Okay. Yes, I'm going back to work tomorrow. It's been nice having some time off, for sure. Finishing the DRK socks will bring me joy.
There you go.
Because
there you go.
They aren't eligible, obviously, because I started them. Well, no, we allowed whips now. Have I done 50 grams since May 1st? Definitely not. But I can't enter anyway. Right. Yeah, so I just did not get much knitting done. He may not be able to really run around the house, but he did learn to crawl while he was here, and he crawls really quickly. And there's a reason why 57-year-old women don't have babies. I was falling into bed every night.
Why when you're a grandma, you can go home at the end of the day and go.
Yeah, so there was precious little knitting time, let me tell you, because, it was all about him, as it should have been. And he's so darn cute. But yeah. Michelle says that we need Jacqueline to design the flag for our raft. Yes, that's what we need. Well, we could put our little KnitChat Cafe logo.
Yep. Well, we have that on the sale. We don't have a flag yet, though. We have the knits and pieces on the sale, but we don't have a flag. We need a little flag up here.
Okay. Yeah. In Jacqueline's spare time, you just want to get her to work on that.
Or maybe I'll have to make a little wee tiny bird that goes at the top in the crow's nest. I don't think my eyesight's good enough to do that. Anyway.
Alexa cast on a lightweight hipster today. That is such a fun pattern. That brought me joy.
Yep.
The regular hipster, both times I knit it, brought me joy. The lightweight hipster brought me joy. That's a lot of joy out of one style, for sure.
That's right. I've done the light whip I was going to say the light whip hipster. Okay, I've done the hipster that uses the lighter yarn
twice. And Kim says, yarnologist. Let's just show this one up here.
Okay.
This is good. A yarnologist, an expert accumulator of yarns and fiber intended for future use.
There you go. Perfect. I'm definitely a yarnologist.
Perfect. Yes, me too. Kathy says that she bought yarn for the Miserina. Oh, we love that sweater. And she says casting it on is going to bring her joy. It will. Knitting that yoke will bring you so much joy. We loved knitting that yoke.
This brought me a lot of joy. It just, the feel of the yarn in my hands, it just feels so luxurious, and I would definitely do another one of these. So, and I do have the green and the pink.
You do?
Yarn.
Yes, you do.
I do. I don't have the, but I might get some. of the parchment.
We have a comment here. I have a PhD in yarnology.
There
Perfect. Perfect. I think we all have that.
Okay,
Susan
so
calls herself a yarnivore.
We should talk about our other KAL too, which is our sock KAL. I know we mentioned it earlier, but our sock KAL is ongoing from the beginning of the year until the end of the year. We draw prizes at the end of every month. At the end of every month, we draw a prize, both a pattern prize and a sock yarn prize. So all you have to do is finish socks and put them in there. So any pair of socks that you put in there, we go right back to the beginning of January. And I think actually this time when we drew prizes, they were some of the early pairs that were in there.
They were. I still got the notes in front of me.
So the sooner you get pairs,
and 61
that's
was the
right.
first
The
one.
sooner you get pairs in there, the more chances that you have to win. Because the only socks that can't win are ones that have already won. So get your socks in there. Our goal for the year is 2,022 pairs in 2022. And I think for sure we'll do that.
I think so, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think for sure you all will do that. So I've got a hashtag here below if you want to show us your socks on Instagram as well. Mm-hmm. We're both pretty active on Instagram, so we go in and we check out these hashtags regularly. We have one other hashtag. Again, so sorry about this, but we have another one here. It's the KnitChat, also on Instagram. So if you're working on something that you want to show us, like I know that we talk a lot about some beautiful sweaters in here. I would love to see all of these sweaters.
I know.
So if you want to post them with that hashtag, then we can go in and check that out as well. Like we follow the hashtag, so we'll see what you're adding in there, and we'd love to see what everybody's making.
Yep. Mark wanted to know if I sewed the keyhole closed. Yes, I did, Mark. I put the button, and I actually did a little loop that went around it, but I just sewed it closed because I tried it on and I could get it on and off without opening it. So I just sewed it so that it wouldn't come undone. So.
Kim said, I'm just going back. Somebody was laughing at a comment Kim made. So she says, PhD equals projects half done. I like that.
Yeah.
Nikki is knitting the center point popover, and that's bringing her joy. What else do we have in here?
Oh, Lee says she's entered her first pair of socks. Yay!
Yay! Way to go! Way to go!
And Terry says she has 12 rows left on a queen size blanket. Wow! I've done some Afghans, but I've never done a queen size blanket. That's for sure.
That's an accomplishment.
And Julia says she has a stable of yarn. Stash acquired beyond life expectancy. Julia, I think I had that years ago. But somehow it doesn't stop me.
Well, I don't know. I just look at it from the point of view, like you can, if it's something you like and it's not hurting anybody that you buy it and it's supporting somebody else that you buy it, you should have it. Doesn't mean you ever have to get it knit.
Like today, I know that I've got most of my yarn all cataloged on Ravelry, and it's one thing to go through it on Ravelry and look at it to find something. But when I go up there and I'm going through one of the bins and all I think is, oh, I want to knit this. I want to knit this. Well, that doesn't happen if I keep buying more and more yarn.
I know. Oh, excuse me. Kathy is on the second color in her half and half. And then you yawn too.
Well,
Kathy's on the second color in her half and half triangle wrap, but she dropped a stitch and she can't pick it up. So she's unknitting one stitch at a time.
Oh, can't you just pick it up with a keyhole?
Can't you get it? Yeah. Can you get in there with a crochet hook and just pick it up?
And how far down is it? If it's really far down, I would just put a light bulb stitch marker on it, and then I would weave it in with a spare piece of yarn.
Yeah. Don't go back. Don't be undue. That's a long project to knit. Hopefully it's not too far back. Margaret says that we all need daughters to knit and inherit the yarn and cherish it. Yeah, but if they knit, they're going to be wanting to buy yarn of their own. So we did a little sewing this week, Kendall and I. We made some pants for Miles. Kendall, when she got here, she said, I have two goals. She goes, I want to make something for Miles on the sewing machine, and I want you to teach me to knit. So we didn't get to the knitting. But we did get a little bit of sewing time together, and that was fun to work on something together. Gwen is knitting Andrea Mowry's Sparky sweater. I like that sweater.
I like
That's
that
a nice one.
Yep.
Heather has a new muscle burra on the needles and a summer shirt that she's test knitting.
We made Lisa yawn too.
Sorry.
I don't want to talk about it or I'll be yawning again.
I know.
And I had a nap today.
I had a little dodo in the car on the drive home. Mike was driving, so I had a little, where your head's back and your mouth is hanging open. One of those unattractive little nappies, but anyway. Yeah. Okay, picking up a stitch and garter socks. Marg is. She's had to do that on her half and half. She's still working on it.
So when you're picking up in garter stitch, obviously it's a lot easier if you laddered down and you're picking up and it's stocking stitch. And if you're not familiar with garter stitch, it's kind of like you have to hook the stitch from a different direction for each stitch. So if you're a little bit confused about it, the best thing to do when you're just learning to do that is pick it up from the knit side. So all that means is you're going to have to turn your project around, but then you'll always be able to see the knit stitch.
Yes.
So pick up the one knit stitch, turn it, and then it'll be a knit stitch on the other side, and then turn it back, and it'll be a knit stitch again. And it just somehow in your mind, it makes it easier than trying to reorient the stitch on the needle from the one side.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So that's just a little tip about it. And it is, don't be discouraged. It is harder to pick up.
Yeah, garter is definitely harder than stockinette for sure.
Stitch. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well.
Anyway.
Oops. Lost something here. Just a second.
Okay.
Do you have something else?
Yeah, well, I do because you guys were so inspiring that I got my air sweater finished because I outed myself on the podcast and said, make me work on this. So I have another project.
Okay.
I want to finish. This one's not quite as old. This is only maybe a year. Okay, but this is the Felix cardigan.
Yes. Yep.
And look, I've already got
so much of it done.
I've already got the body. I've got one band done. So I've only got to do the sleeve. And it's here we go.
Good night, Beth. She has an unexpected visitor. I hope it's a knitter.
I hope it's the mailman.
She's gone to make tea
with yarn. Anyway, so I've got one band done. The sleeves won't take that long. I've got to do the other band and the neck band, but I could be wearing this. It's a done in summery, well, except for the mohair, but it's done in this diamond luxury. This is summertime light, which is acrylic, cotton, linen, and polyester. Mm-hmm. And then it's held with mohair. But it would be a perfect sweater to throw on in the evening in the summer when it starts to get cool.
Okay. So what do you have to have done by next week?
I have to at least have done something, at least the bands, because they're the picky part. When I get those done, I won't mind doing the sleeves. So I have to have the other band and the neck band done by next week. Okay.
And that says that she's knitting that one too.
Okay. And that you have to have the same done.
Yeah.
Anyway. It's a simple pattern. You just get that nice little detail here at the
it's similar to the sweater I just finished, the coastal crop. It just has a nice little detail here.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Petra bought some Sonder yarn and Rowan kid silk and in black, and she just decided to knit that cardigan too. That's going to be,
that'll look nice.
That'll be a gorgeous piece. Yeah.
So and that was another mistake I made on the podcast. I was listening back after, and I said that my sweater that I was doing in the Sonder yarn was DK. It's not. It's 4-ply. Anyway.
Nikki said her 12-year-old wants a center point pop over, and she's told her that they can learn to knit a bit more and make their own. There you go. And Heather just bought her first linen quill, looking forward to a half and half wrap and some sweaters. Heather, I have some too. I'm going to make that half and half. And I keep saying, this is a week I'm casting on. But you know what? Now I am as Sarah would call it, my deadline-oriented personality. I made it through tax season. I got that done. And now I've had my little visit in with Kendall and Miles. So I'm free willy. in the evenings now. So there's going to be some things coming for sure. I'm casting on. There might be like several cast-ons by next week. Who knows? Because I tend to get like when I cast one thing on, I'm like, oh, I want to do that and that. And then I get casting on it's like that decision. And then you have to like hunt and gather your supplies, right? You know, the needles that you want, the bag that you want to put it in, the yarn, some cords, anything that you might need. So for me, it's just like, okay, get set to cast on. And then once I've cast on, I love the project, but it's just that mindset
getting ready. I know.
Of that hunting and gathering mode, right? Linda is asking, can you knit 100% linen held with mohair, or has anyone? I have not.
I haven't, but I don't see why you couldn't.
So. Yeah, that's right. Petra's saying neither one of them stretch, so it probably would be a good match. Mm-hmm. Well, Heather, I'm going to cast mine on too. When are you casting yours on? Maybe we can keep each other into it. Diane is doing the Felix and the half and half.
Oh, the half and half.
Or the
Rebecca said she wants to. Oh, she wore her No Need to Panic, so she's already finished.
Oh,
White DK cotton. That would be nice.
Oh, that would be.
I like that one. I might want to do that one too.
I know.
And there was another one that it was one of the Melanie Berg ones. I can't remember. But I was thinking, since we're getting into summer, that maybe next week we could maybe go through with our summer tops.
Okay.
Kind of like how we did with the socks.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's always good to give people ideas. And so, and then I can get mine out and see what I'm missing and what I still need to knit.
Literally nothing. You have a lot more than me. I think I only have a few. So it'll be the Noelle show, but that's a great idea.
I honestly don't think I have that many.
I think you do.
I have a lot of winter sweaters. So
okay.
Anyway, but yeah,
so
and then maybe go through and look for some that we think would be good projects for easy, quick summer sweaters.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that because I have a few of those lined up.
Yep. And if any of you guys have any ideas, like we'd love to hear what they are.
Absolutely. Yeah, sure. Send us some messages this week. And if it's not something that's already in our queue, we can look that up and then be prepared to talk about it for next week. So it'll be a little homework for us.
Yep.
Yeah. So. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. It's been a hoot, as we would say out east. Yep. It's been a hoot. We always have fun in here. It's so nice to visit with everybody. And we'll be here next Tuesday with our summer sweaters.
We will, even though it's not supposed to be as summery of weather, but
that's okay. It's always summery in the KnitChat Cafe.
I have summer night sweaters that are a little bit warmer than summer sweaters. So
good stuff.
Anyway, okay. Well, good night, everybody. Get your socks in there and your joyful projects on the go. Although, you know what? To be honest, I find most of my projects are joyful. There's not too many things that I knit that I don't want to knit. There's the occasional things that are product knits, but for the most part, I would say most of the things are things that I want to knit.
Colorwork is definitely up there for me. I love working on colorwork. So. Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
See you next Tuesday.
Happy knitting.